pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everybody to our first Human Services meeting of the new year. Start with an approval of minutes. Look for a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
Any changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, just one is a resolution establishing a capital project for a Frisbee golf course on Independence Trail. I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Did you want to tell us a little more about that, Brian?
I would, and I apologize because you were out of the room when you came in a minute. Well, your dog, Dr. Humphrey, popped in right behind you. You raised his hand. He approached Zach and I years ago about potentially putting a course in. And briefly, if you want to explain the process of what we're doing,
Sure.
You're more knowledgeable than I am.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me here, folks. It's the first time I've ever been to a county meeting. When I was 22 years old, I was a alderman. Not alderman, it would be a councilman, and over in Rensselaer County. So very familiar with this one. It's been 30 years. Wow. So about 7 years ago, my son and I picked up this activity. It's called disc golf. We commonly hear of it as Frisbee golf. We take your ultimate Frisbees, only they're smaller. And it's been an amazing journey of an exciting activity. You have 18 holes like a golf course, only you're playing it most of the time in the woods or around a community park.
That's not golf.
Frisbee golf.
I spent a lot of time in the woods and golf, so.
Yeah, me too. And the pros and cons are amazing because of the cost effectiveness. We're not clear cutting, you're not making it look like the country club or even Tamarack or any of the other nice golf courses at all. You're just maybe taking a little tree here and there to make a path through the woods that you would throw these discs. And the beauty is it's free if it's a county facility, and there's really no damage to anything. And you're walking and spending an hour and a half, and most of the people who walk their dogs in all ages, like a gentleman like this man and her little 6-year-old kid. And but the problem is we ran into was we had to drive to Rochester or Syracuse, which are anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour away. And I thought, well, goodness gracious, why don't we have anything in Oswego County? We're one of the largest counties in the state. And so for years I've been trying to pursue this with SUNY Oswego or any other park in our county, but we don't really seem to have big parks like these other cities. So I approached Brian years ago, and he didn't really think we had anything to do or a place to put this either. So with this, they're maybe 300 feet. They're not very long holes. It's not maybe the longest of them, or maybe the length of a football field. So you're not talking yards, you're talking feet. So it's very easy for adults to get around and play, and children and women. So when he told me about Independence Park, I was just, for one thing, I never thought we'd ever get one. I said, well, where are you going to build in Independence Park? So I never knew this place existed. I lived here for 24 years. I said, what? So he said, go over and look. It's your out, kid. So I found it, and we walked around, and I was pretty enthralled to see that it looks like the Adirondacks. It's a beautiful park. If you guys haven't been there, it's just amazing. And so it's quite a nice place to put in. You don't need more than probably 20 acres, and that park is 80 acres. So it's just a smidgen of the park. And it's spread out so you're not in anybody's way. There are a lot of nice trails there. I thought, well, you can't go down the roads as I try to practice over there now to see what it's going to feel like. You don't do that. You don't hurt anybody. Nobody's going to get injured by this. You're going to walk down and you'll throw off into the woods. These baskets are almost invisible. You won't even see them. They're like a giant, oh, that's a garish looking lime green. No, it's not. It's just metal and gray like his shirt. And so they're not a nuisance. They look nice. And being a physician, I'm just looking for something for people to do in the community for exercise and activity. Years ago, we had a nice dome. That thing fell down. I thought that was awesome for the winter. A sport like this, we can play year round. And you think, what? You know, you played for 9 months at the country club, that's great. No, here you play if it's sprinkling, if it's muddy, we put on mud boots or whatever, and we go around, we throw, so we're always outside. So that's a beautiful thing. And trying to get people to have activities other than playing with their phones. And so I'm trying to get youth, we will be able to grab in, I think a new diverse group of people that are involved in like this sport. We should bring in a nice little income, I think, to the county because people have to get gas, they're going to eat at Rudy's, and these signposts that describe the whole, you may see, oh, sponsored by rabies. Rabies. Oh yeah, I can get my drill over there next. So it's to me, it's a plus for this, for the county, for revenue, for just awesome, different, something to do different in our county. And my goal is to hopefully to bring us as like a destination place for our county because we do have other properties that we're talking to a private golf course. And I'm hoping one day that the college, there's 6 different SUNY campuses with disc golf. Give those kids something to do. They're going to run around. And I'm thinking with our park, the kids will go down there, the students will play, and they'll hopefully talk to their campus and say, hey, get this on the campus. You're not setting precedents here. Let's go. Let's get it here. The costs are very minimal. It's well under $20,000 to put one in. It lasts for 25 years. So it's a drop in the bucket to have something fun like this, I think, for our county.
So, Brian, who's going to design the course?
Well, we have to put that out there, but.
Yeah, we have a guy, he's been out here already, he's from Mount Rochester, he's a professional. Disc golf, so just real quick, is the fastest growing sport in the world. It is a professional sport. The top guys are making $1 million a year. And if you watch on YouTube, you'll be blown away by what you see. Because these kids are real thin little kids throwing at 500 feet. And so these professionals are all around our Syracuse, Rochester area. So we have a guy who's really a really wonderful man, and he's designed several of them. So, but he'll come to town.
I walked a course in Pennsylvania, so I'm familiar with what they look like.
You did score?
Pardon me?
You did score?
I walked it, I didn't.
Next time we
I
can do this.
didn't throw a disc. I looked for any stray ones in the woods
Yes.
because I thought Tim might have been there playing before me.
People put their telephone numbers and they come back. I've driven Syracuse to pick up a disc. People are very friendly in the sport. I've never seen an issue with anybody.
So
that's
we're
another
gonna RFP the design, and are you actually going to get donations to support the?
That was the discussion down the line that I would talk to you guys about at some point in time, that once we put the course being built, if we wanted to put hole markers like signs up and put different sponsors on them to tag, we could do that, but I thought that would be a conversation starting probably with Rich on that one to see where we go with that one.
I would think you'd try to include that right in the bid.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as, because how else do people know where the hole is?
Oh, no, they'll be there
Right.
if we wanted to put any signage on them, I guess is what I'm saying. So the post, like markers will be there.
Right. Just for a quick example, if you were to start, say where the parking lot is, you would, this golf course here, and you have the sign, and it'll show you, oh, it's down to the right. You get there, and at the baskets, we generally have a little arrow to the next tee box. So you're walking, here that door is the next one. So it's really nice. We try to make it so easy because there's nothing worse than somebody getting on the course going, well, it's hole number 3. I have no clue where I am.
So what's the approval process for us for the actual design?
Once we get the bids, I believe we'll put the bids out and bring them back. Like,
Is the bid going to include removal of trees and things like that?
I don't think so. No.
I mean, other than like a twig like this, you're trying to keep everything as if nothing ever changes. You're not clear cutting, you're not taking, unless there's a
I
dead
guess
tree.
that's part of the challenge of the game.
Yeah,
Well, so you're going to use the existing trail.
correct.
You're not
And
going
you
to
would just step off. and
create
go.
new trails.
Correct. You would step off 10 feet and throw around those 3 trees, and there you go, and you're walking around. So you're really not in anybody's way. I've never seen all the parks I've been to. They're not in the way of walking dogs in Rochester. And no one's like, 4, careful, ma'am, you're going to get whacked. No, you're not seeing that. We would never design it like that. It could be a problem.
We need some sort of.
Who's next?
Wait.
Whoa. One at a time here. Okay, Jim?
So, is there an investment to this prior to the 20,000 or 20,000?
No, that's it. Here's the big, because it's the baskets. They cost maybe $500 each basket, but they're galvanized. They last for 25 years. You put it in once, you never move it. There it is. Put some cement maybe underneath it, so some kid doesn't come and steal it. And then eventually, in 1 year, we'll put a tee box you can throw on it, either like an astroturf or cement. And once again, once it's in, it's never moved. It'll probably take 6 months, I would think, to figure out, okay, where's the exact route we want? Then we'll put the tee box down. Because you can play on the grass and dirt. That's what your next throw is anyway, so. It's very, very minimal. It's just unbelievable how
Tim, you
simple.
have a question?
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, you want a motion to discuss first, or you?
I thought we did.
Yeah, we
First and
did.
second.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
You made it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Motion
in full support of it.
You did hit your
It's
head
been a
today,
long,
didn't you?
Dr. Humphrey's talking for a long time.
I know.
So I just want to say, I'm full support of this. I've actually played, we called it crawl thing.
Yes.
It's too long to say frisbee golf. But I played a couple places in Erie County with my in-laws, and it was an absolute blast. So it is very, very cheap. Anybody can, I mean, you can pick these discs up for $10 or something. It's really,
You
really,
got it forever.
when you take them with you, and it's a lot of fun. It is a good way to keep people out walking around a little bit. It is not obtrusive. It's a good point. You wouldn't even know they're there.
No.
I've been to this park half a dozen times before I even noticed that they were there. They were the whole time.
I was in for years watching bicycle racing.
I think it's a great idea. I know it's an ARPA fund project, so the funds are available. I think it's a great idea, and I fully support it. And I know Legislator Mangano's not here, but I know she's in full support of it as well. So,
Rick?
how about the maintenance of it?
Running buildings, grounds.
Same with the. Is there already maintenance in the park?
Buildings and grounds comes in and do anything major we need to do, or my friend Zach Rulick out here does a lot too, and we do have trail crew in the summertime. And I think as Dr. Humphrey can tell you, there's not much maintenance to be done because the baskets aren't on the trail, they're off to the side, so if they need to have things done, we can do it. But as for the trails, between B&J and us and Highway, we've been maintaining it.
I've been to one down in Alabama and there's very few trees cut, anything. It's very little maintenance. Once they get it, you ain't know it's there, like you
Right.
said.
Other questions? By Mike?
Yeah, do they, the course layout, that can be done by a registered professional, design engineer,
There
architect,
you got one.
site guy?
What is
You're
he?
talking state money, or you're talking,
No. I think
No,
that's
that's
part of
what
the funding we have is in that.
Yeah, there's really nothing to it. He's done many of these courses already. Van Buren's a gorgeous one, probably the best in central New York right now. Maybe ours will be better. There's nothing really. I'm going to start walking it with him, try to figure out how to kind of, I was floored there was 250 feet of lakefront. I mean, I can throw them into the water, but we'll be getting people say, wow, there's the lake, this is beautiful. Trying to bring out the park idea and see how beautiful it is here. I think there's only 2 in New York State that are on Lake Ontario, and that's out near Rochester. It's called Shore Winds or Hamlin State Park, if anybody's ever been out that Ontario Parkway. There's beautiful state parks there. You can just go in and play. They have 2 at one place. So, and this place could probably support 2 or 3 if we ever got there, but start with 1. But
I got Phil and then Jim and then.
yes, go ahead.
Dr. Humphrey alluded to one thing, he never heard of Independence Park. You put in a Frisbee golf course and that helps solve that problem. It's going to be elevated.
Okay.
People start to use it and know more about it. Secondly, I'd recommend doing this because Dr. Humphrey's been trying to get me to lose weight for years.
I know. And that's what I want. There we go. An hour and a half walk is so invigorating, and it's 12 months out of here, really. I mean, the way this global warming, if you want to call it that, is I just played on Sunday, and you get this much snow, and you rarely ever lose your disc. You put a piece of ribbon on it, it's crazy. It spins through the air really funny looking, but you don't lose your disc. So, and they're all similar colors, orange, blue, so you don't lose them in the white.
One of the things he had also told Zach and I when we were planning this, one of the things is even during the pandemic, you could have played.
This is where it got big, you guys. The last probably 3 years, it's taken off around the world. And you start seeing ski resorts. There's this place called Snow Ridge. I don't know if it's the next county over. They have a gorgeous 18-hole. They have a huge disc golf tournament they just had in the fall. It's beautiful. Lewis County? Okay. And in Portland, where Greek Peak is, in Portland or Tompkins County, that's starting to become popular too. So people are seeing, you got to utilize these properties that are just sit there for 9 months out of the year, actually, and people want to have places to go and do things. They really are. And I guess Camp Zerby is another place I just heard about, albeit that is an hour away. I feel like you're going back into Syracuse and Rochester, unfortunately. But
in guys country.
I know, but it gives those people a place from Mexico to go, which
Jim?
I would be for.
Yeah, I guess I think the concept is great. I'm a little bit concerned over the fact that everything that I've been involved in with ARPA has some form of investment piece or loss of investment or, and now we're looking at a project that's fully funded from start to completion, and I'm just very uncomfortable with that.
The difference is, Jim, that this is internal ARPA money, and it's on a county facility, so the cost would all be ours.
So that comes from the other pot.
It comes from the internal, and also expanding recreational opportunities was part of the original intent of ARPA.
Dave, you still want to add
said that to
Good.
begin with.
I wanted to crack a joke instead. So.
I just think, it didn't look like we were following what we had set up as guidelines, so,
Stacy?
thank you.
So I lived in Madison County when it was Oxbow.
Yeah,
County
oh,
Park. No one knew about Oxbow County Park until we
we
put
come from
Frisbee.
here, which is an hour away.
And, I want to say, as an advocate for low-income families and youth, this was just a godsend. I was the executive director of Community Action Program, and we weren't making a lot of money on our fundraiser at golf courses, but our Frisbee golf course, wow.
The tournaments are insane.
The turnout was fabulous, and we raised a lot of money
Yeah.
and introduced people to Frisbee golf, and I hope it's still going strong in Madison.
And it is, and they just reworked a little bit. I used to play there probably 6 months ago, unfortunately. It is a 1 hour drive. With the gas prices, you guys, I'd be buying 4 discs for the price I just paid to drive to Rochester and Oxbow. And once again, I think we get this out here. My goal is to get the engineer guys out of Novalis, the nuclear guys, give you something other than your 12-hour shift. Go around the court, play in a league. Maybe we'll have Tuesday night league. I don't know. The kids in the summer,
Yes.
teach them, and it's just huge. If
It
you
is
look it up
impressive.
online, you'll be blown away that this exists. You never heard of it. Because in the college could have a club team that can go national into tournaments around America. So I'm hoping we can rise up and say, wow, we're not the last county to have it in New York State, because we're loaded with the places and the people, and I would love to see Oswego come alive in something. And like I said, they got to eat at Ruby's, they got to go to Stewart's. I think it could pay itself in like a couple of years just by the people coming. Because people are crazy. We drive 2 hours to play. Okay, so just to let you know, you'll be surprised. So,
9 or 18.
9 or 18. Yeah.
And has anybody thrown a frisbee out there with the winds coming off the lake yet?
Yeah, I've been out here many times just pretending, okay, that's right towards the lake too. It's
gonna
a
work.
little interesting. So your disc will do weird things. And
Yeah, these aren't the Frisbees
Who
that
was
you
with it,
used when you
Brian?
were
When
a
I threw
kid.
that right down that one spot, I thought, oh my
They
God,
have
there's your
different ones.
signature hole.
Like, they have different ones like that.
I mean, they're all different
Wow.
sizes, they're weighted.
They're not the big ones you would throw with your kids, the ultimate Frisbees that you see at the football fields. They're smaller, they're 21 centimeters, so what's that, 10 inches diameter? And their edges, I'm telling you, it's not like a saw blade, but they get thin, and when you can throw them 500 feet, it's insane. You can't believe it. You saw kids in 7th grade doing this, you would think, how does their body do that? I'm bigger than them, I should throw 2 football too. But no, they're different. The flight physics of it, they literally do this. Your ball will go one way and that's it. When I see my disc come back the other way, it's just the thrill of seeing something fly like you got a remote control is very strange in this sport. So you get people to do it, but like I said, tournaments, leagues, fundraisers, and I was on fundraiser for 20 years of playing ball golf. Okay, Bob, can you raise $500? How about 50? And the kid will play, get in $50, but you got 150 people playing, and not just 20. And you go and hope I can make some money. So that is a whole other realm you can't even believe what you bring into this county with that. And they play amazing. But go ahead, I'm taking
I make a motion to approve the HS1.
Yeah,
Motion's already made.
we already have a motion, so, any other questions?
Oh, I'm glad to hear it won't just rub dogs.
Look for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There we go.
Thank you, guys. For letting me- I know these are long meetings, so thank you so much for doing that.
Dave, do you have any extra documentation on Liberty resources before we get to it? Because there's nothing in the packet. I'd like to see.
There wasn't an attachment to the info memo?
I don't think it made the packet, did it?
Should have been.
It's just a description. There's a description, I think. You get this,
Is it in there?
this thing?
There you go.
It's just the shoes over there.
Okay. All right.
Just a one paragraph summary.
Is that in there?
Yeah. It wasn't in the
It's in the
draft.
back. It's in the back. Okay. We should get past these charts.
Okay, HS2 is a resolution to amend the bylaws for City County Youth Bureau. Very minor changes. One of them was highlighted pretty well, the other one was a little harder to see. So the first one is on Article 8, Item 1B, at the end of that first sentence. Just changes the number of board members. And the other one's highlighted better, so it's more obvious. I'll look for a motion on those.
Make a motion.
Any second? Any discussion on those changes? Any questions for Brian? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? HS3 is a resolution. Are we gonna change the title of this?
Yes. Yes.
So, okay, so why don't you give me the new title to this resolution?
The resolution in your packet has been updated. The title should read, and we'll need a motion to amend all these things. Resolution authorizing creation of 2 positions and the deletion of 1 in the Department of Social Services. And then we'll need to add a resolve that 1 account clerk will be deleted, and I believe DSS is getting the position number for us.
Do we have that?
I'm sorry.
Do we have the position number that was gonna be deleted?
Oh, I see it. It's just three, huh?
HS3.
HS3.
And we remove a resolve that authorizes the treasurer to do a budget nod, because that budget nod is not necessary.
It is 6010.
Can you say that a little louder?
6010000106.
And that's an account clerk. So we'd add in the language that that position is deleted and it's vacant, so nobody's losing the job.
Make a motion for the amendments as stated.
Second?
All those in favor of the changes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and we have a motion on the resolution itself. We have questions for Stacy on the motion.
Stacy, can you talk to that a little bit, just understanding how,
Sure. Can you bring up my,
Oh, sorry. I sure can.
Sometimes it's easier to actually see the org chart, and that would be, fiscal organizational charts proposed, right there, yep. So as you know, we lost 2 very tenured, over 30-year employees in our accounting division, and so, oops. I don't know if it'll allow you to do that.
Just accept it.
Okay, there we go. So, so we had 6 different between senior and account clerks under one grade B. And so now we are creating we have 2 grade Bs with our account clerks, which would be the entry level, and then a career ladder to go to the senior account clerk, and then the accounting supervisor grade B. Things have gotten more complex with state claiming, as well as some new federal avenues for claiming in services. And so this also gives us a deeper bench. You might recall in November, I had shown you an org chart for fiscal. We had 42% vacancy. We don't have any kind of bench right now. This does provide cross-training as well. So we'll have people who, if they leave us, we can easily backfill. And that's the issue we're running into right now.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. HS4 is a resolution authorizing the reclassification of 3 positions in the Department of Social Services. We also have an amendment for this one.
Yeah, we can, again, remove the budget mod because vacancy savings will cover the cost of this, so that third resolve would be stricken.
So first I'll look for a motion on the resolution to discuss.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second. And a motion to amend. I'll make that motion to amend.
Second.
All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so, my understanding, I guess, is that the typist positions have been incredibly difficult to fill, and that the position of community services worker allows for some different job duties, and that's supported by the memo, the information memo. Stacy, do you want to mention anything else having to do with this?
Well, right now, it's kind of a, like a conveyor belt, there's the lower level task get done by a typist, and then goes on to the community services worker that gathers documents, and then onto the social welfare examiner, who then is the only position who can authorize the opening of a SNAP case, a HEAP case, financial assistance case. And so by eliminating some of those typists, leveling the playing field, because we can assign tasks and duties that are below a grade but not above a grade, we're able to, again, have a lot of cross-training, a deeper bench, and get rid of some of the complexities when you are teasing out tasks for different parts of your workforce. They'll be able to just grab and get the task done. So, and it's, a difference of about 700 and change to do that. So, for whatever reason, people are more attracted to the position title community services worker. So we are hopeful that we might be able to get some support and some help in there.
Well, I think the title typist has become kind of archaic. So this sounds like a more interesting job.
Yes, and it is an interesting job. We're still connecting with our constituents and helping.
Not to mention the fear of somebody saying, I have to take a typing test.
So how about when we're looking to attract people into those positions? Are they do they need a degree, or are those cases?
I'm gonna let Marty answer that.
No, they need a high school diploma with some experience in doing customer service, human services related work.
Any other questions? Tim?
Any issue with reclassing only in this unit? Are we going to run into any problems with typists in other units? I mean, have we had that issue? Sometimes when we do reclasses, we inadvertently mess with some of our other departments without realizing it. Plus, I think under our last agreement, we just bumped this up by, let's see, this is a class 3, so those were 9% increases. 8%?
It's one grade, and at this low of a level, it's only at 4%.
Community services workers make 4% more than typists as it stands right now.
So any issues though, and on the other
I
departments?
believe this is the only department with the title.
Okay.
Community services workers, that's true. We're the only one that uses that title.
We have other typists, I'm assuming now?
Yes,
Not many left, but yeah.
Well, we've been having problems filling those wherever they are.
I think it's the same, because we found some typists in other departments as
Yeah.
well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
And we have done this before too, haven't we? We've already
Yes.
changed some in other positions of typists, bring them up. So you already know this is something that's been helping you.
yes.
Any other questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? HS5 is a resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services for overtime. This is, so this is gonna cover us until, we think, how long?
I'm not
Yeah, this,
convinced we actually put a projected date of coverage on here. Did we?
so it's in the amount of $47,113.70.
So it's got 528, it brings you through the period of 528.
528, okay.
Projects the needs through 528.
Yeah, so this is, we have had historic levels of applications for heating assistance, home energy assistance program, heat and SNAP, given the prices of food and gas and utilities, and yet we have 6 vacancies. We have actually 8 vacancies, but we have 3 positions being filled in the next few months. So as long as they come on board, we've had promises like that and then they back out, but we're hopeful we have 3 coming in, but that's still gonna leave us with 5 vacancies. And so there's a lot of overtime. They're coming in on Saturdays to work a full day on Saturdays, and we're still not able to keep caught up. We're about, I think, the last I heard, we're about 250 applications behind in heating assistance, which worries me. People need those heating subsidies, and we're also behind on our opening of SNAP applications. So, and people are moving them along as quickly as possible. But
I'll look for a motion on this resolution to discuss.
Make a motion.
All right, we have first and second.
Second.
Yep, we got it. So questions for Stacy?
Are they able to work during the week too as well overtime?
yes, they come in early or they stay later. And we have supervisors there when they're there on Saturdays or for the later shift or early morning shift.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Carries. HS6 is a resolution authorizing budget modification Department of Social Services to purchase of 1 vehicle and transfer 3 vehicles from the Health Department. Yeah, so we're amending this one as well.
Okay, the modifications to this one, the heading, you can strike the words "and transfer 3 vehicles." All you need to do is a resolution to transfer 1. And the budget modification is changed. Instead of taking $9,100 out of fund balance, we will take it out of mileage, which makes sense because they're going to have more cars to, so less employee mileage. The reason for these changes, or the change to the heading, is normally we don't need resolutions to transfer vehicles between departments. the 3 vehicles that health, or the social services will get from health. We own those outright, and by county policy, the purchasing director can transfer assets between departments that are declared surplus. So health will just declare surplus, they can transfer them to DSS. The 1 vehicle, though, however, we don't own outright because it was purchased with New York State Article 6 money in the health department. So we have to provide some money, I think, either restore some money back from the sale or prove that we sold it for market, even though it's an internal sale to one of our other departments. So we just need authorization for the paper trail to keep the state happy.
Okay. I did not jot down, did I get a motion for this before we
Yes,
start talking about it?
No, I don't have.
No, okay,
You don't?
no, we didn't.
I thought I said.
Yeah.
Well, we can,
was the one before.
yeah.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, this one too.
Yeah, I think she's right, because I usually check it off that I
Yeah.
did it. So Jim, you've got you're making the motion,
I'll make the motion.
and
Second.
you're making the second, and then, motion to amend, I'll make the motion. Tim's got the motion to amend,
Oh, sorry.
and Jim's got the second. I'll vote for the motion to amend.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any other discussion on the main resolution?
Health department will take care of the other half tomorrow.
We're
Yeah.
very appreciative of these vehicles.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries as amended, rather. Okay, HS7 is a resolution authorizing budget modification Department of Social Service to accept Code Blue funding. This is in the amount of $160,165. Code Blue, of course, is money having to do with warming centers and homeless people during the winter. Looking for a motion on the resolution?
Second.
Okay, we got first and second. Stacy, do you want to address it at all, or?
Well, this is a real cost savings to us because Victory Transformation has a wonderful warming center, wonderful program. They actually use men who were formerly homeless as the people they call in to open the warming center up when it's below 32 degrees. So it's a peer-to-peer counseling, and formerly we would have had to put them somewhere with no shelter. It was motel rooms. So this gets them linked quickly to services in the community, to job opportunities, and gets them back on their feet. We love Victory Transformation as a partner. They've done great work.
And this saves the county quite a bit of money on the,
On
hotel
motel
rooms.
charges, absolutely, yeah.
What kind of capacity do they handle?
Marty, do you know that one? I think it's up to 12. There's up to 12 people at the warming center. I'm pretty sure that's the number.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
well, and frankly, we had some people that were becoming sort of serial abusers of the
Yes.
system, so that they kind of knew they could get a
so
weekend
they don't
pass
come
into
in, yeah, they don't.
and now
come
that
in
they
to
know
the
that they're probably going to get sent to the warming center instead of a hotel room to have a party and wreck the hotel room, they are not calling to do that anymore. So
That's right.
it's not just a cost savings, it's takes away some headaches for the owners of these motels and hotels. That's right.
What is the warming center?
So it is a big room with couches and
It has heat.
a meal and a heat. It's part of Victory's offices and program space.
So it's an actual building, it's not a tent or something? like
No,
that?
it's an actual
It's not a trailer
building.
across the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
Right across the street,
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
in courthouses.
Oh, I think that's what I was looking to find out, yeah, I didn't know where we were keeping it. Thank you.
Right, and they got that church through back taxes, right? It was,
That's right. And donations and some state money helped renovate it.
all right. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. HSA is a resolution authorizing budget modification Department of Social Services to accept SNAP employment and training allocation. So in total, this is $129,366. I'll look for a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Stacy, do you want to address this one?
Well, it is money that is provided us, federal money, and helps people who are on SNAP fast track into employment services so that they will come off of SNAP. And City BOCES also receive some SNAP employment and training monies. So we coordinate our efforts with City BOCES.
Any questions? All right, we do have a motion, right? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution HS8 is a resolution appointing members to the Board of Community Services Board. How do you say Greg's name again?
Second.
Osetic. Okay. Mr. Greg Osetic and Mr. Brian Coleman. I'll look for a motion on this resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a first and we have a second.
Okay.
Any discussion? They're both returning to the board, right, reappointments. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we got through 9 motions, or 9 resolutions. Next in my packet is a bid acceptance for the Camp Hollis Administration Building installation.
How about the HS9? Did you do that already? HS9?
Yeah,
We did, we just did it.
You did it. Oh, okay. I thought they said
yeah. I know, we did it with such blazing speed, you have a hard time keeping up. Do we need a resolution to accept this, or we're motion?
No.
Or motion. Brian, would you want to talk about it, or are we gonna have Holly?
Well, it's like a Holly here for today.
Now, are you looking to do this whole project? I thought you,
This is a part of the project for the Camp Hollis Lodge. This piece right here.
There are 2 bids,
2 bids.
one for the insulation and one for the HVAC.
and they're, what you're asking to accept them both from the EIF construction company?
The insulation is EIF and the HVAC is P&J. And we attached the list because we had to send it out to meet all the requirements of the state. So one of them we sent out to 50 vendors, another one we sent out to 37. So we just attached our list so you could see who the vendors were that we directly solicited, besides advertising.
Yeah, because I haven't seen this like this in here before.
We had one respondent for the installation.
Wow.
We did try to contact some of the vendors, but part of the problem was they're small projects for a lot of contractors, and there were so many requirements because of the grant that they didn't want to bother with such a small project and so much paperwork. And that's quotes from them.
That's too bad.
And refresh our memories, Brian, where's the funding coming for this?
This is the CFA grant with New York State Parks.
Okay.
It's the 50,000, right?
This is a 300,000. This is a little bit, no, that 50,000 is for Camp Survey. That you're thinking of.
Okay.
So can we accept both of them on one, or should we just do two?
Just set separate, just in case there's a big challenge or.
Right, okay.
And it's pending New York State's approval.
Right. pending,
So, two different resolutions.
is that, we have to state that in the motion, pending New York State
I,
approval?
well, I don't know if you have to state it, I just wanted you to know
No, it
that.
doesn't have to.
They think they're gonna approve it, but they haven't given us the official approval.
They have all the documentation, but they're behind in.
So we can't move forward on the contract until they,
We're on the waiver for it, yeah.
wouldn't hurt for the motion to say pending
Pending state approval? Yeah. I'll make the amendment.
So you are gonna make a motion to, approve bid 22-YB-002. Look for a second.
Oh, wait, for a second.
With the amended, based,
Pending New York State.
Pending state
the New York
approval.
State approval.
Well, we don't have to amend it, it's all in one motion.
Okay,
Yeah, just have to move it, correct?
okay, all right.
Just have to mention it. All right, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so look for a motion on bid 22-YB-003, Camp Hollis Administration Building HVAC.
I'll make the motion.
Herb, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got the ARPA project. You know, the reason I asked before, Dave, is because this sheet was not in the draft packet, and that's what I've been taking all my notes in.
Not sure how that happened, but apologize.
It's okay. All kinds of stuff happens. So this is an ARPA project for Liberty Resources requesting $170,751 for a program that began in Cuba County with success, a mobile crisis specifically designed as a co-response model to provide immediate on-site crisis intervention to youth and adults experiencing a mental health emergency in a limited hour structure. This trained response team composed of licensed therapists and qualified mental health providers de-escalated crisis, diverted unnecessary hospitalizations, and linked individuals to needed services in the community. This would create full-time crisis responders and case managers for the program. They requested $170,751. The task force, having reviewed this, the ARPA task force, is recommending an award of $170,000. Does anybody else have anything to add to that? Dave, do you have any?
Yeah, and Nicole actually might be more familiar with it than I am for the actual field work. But one of the important things about this in the findings in Cuba County was by having this like immediate response team that could intervene before people just ended up in emergency rooms or just wandered into emergency rooms. It kept those spaces which we know already are crowded and because of the staffing shortages in hospitals, it kept that emergency room space for people who had real medical emergencies as opposed to mental health emergencies. Not that they're not medical as well, but it helped them get the right services and the attention that they needed from trained personnel instead of a nurse in the emergency room trying to figure out what's going on with that person. Also helped law enforcement at the site, at the scene, as it mentioned, de-escalate certain cases. Not all of the law enforcement have had mental health intervention training, so it was a great benefit to them. This is a 2-year program at which time they think they'll have the funding in place to carry it on after that. And Nicole, I don't know if you wanted to add anything about this?
Yeah, in Oswego County, the program currently exists, and this will allow them to be able to increase their staffing. The future funding that Dave was talking about was The state plan Medicaid, the state plan amendments for Medicaid is moving to a fee-for-service. So it'll be a larger pool of individuals that they will be able to bill Medicaid for, receive that revenue. They are also pursuing third-party insurers to add this service to their coverage, benefit coverage as well. So they're looking at identifying additional revenue sources. It's been a great success for, it started in Cuyahoga County. They currently serve Cortland, Onondaga, Madison, and Oswego County as well. And the demand for the service continues to rise, so they continue to need to be able to recruit additional staff. But the reimbursement rates from Medicaid is not keeping up with what the cost of the program is. So they're trying to increase their capacity to be able to meet the demand in the county.
Could you just clarify what specific service this is?
It's a mobile crisis intervention. It's telephonic and mobile crisis intervention from Liberty Resources. So they work through, they're contacted by an individual, or law enforcement can contact them directly, and they will triage by phone, figure out what the need is. Sometimes people just need somebody to talk to, and that's adequate. Other times they will deploy a team, a case manager, peer advocate, along with a licensed clinician to go to wherever that person is in their community or in their home. They do co-response with law enforcement to de-escalate and divert from emergency rooms.
This is awesome. Yeah, good.
So we want to keep
Yeah,
going.
no.
We do.
You said it exists already.
Yes.
Okay, we're just expanding.
Yeah, this allows them to hire 2 more people.
How many people do they have now?
Well, it depends on the shift. There are 3 people, for Oswego County specifically, there are 3 people that are full-time Monday through Friday. And then they have per diem staff that are on call should there be a request for their service. And so they're per diem staff, and there's a team covering all the rest of the hours, evenings, overnights, and weekends, but they're not full-time. And so depending on the need, if there's more than one individual in need at a time across the whole county, they can get spread pretty thin pretty quickly. They would also like to be able to do more in partnership with the schools during the school day. So they've had limited capacity to really try to move in that direction, and this will help them be able to do that.
Stacy?
And we appreciate mobile crisis coming into the lobby to Department of Social Services.
Oh, okay. That's probably a big plus for you guys.
It is.
Yeah.
That's good. Go ahead,
You're
Mike.
saying the ARPA money, this is ARPA money, right?
Yes.
So 170, you said 175?
170.
170.
even.
Oh, 170. It really, that's not a yearly amount of money. This ARPA money is a one-time shot.
So this was not one that we had a chance to apply any opioid money towards, or?
You would have to ask Rich about whether that could be applied here or not specifically. I'm not up to speed on how to disperse the opioid money, but
Yeah.
This is general crisis, mental health crisis across the spectrum.
They do, some of these, it's primarily mental health response. They do encounter people with co-occurring disorders and are also under the influence, but it's primarily designed as a mental health response.
Okay, any other questions? I'll look for a motion then to move this ARPA project forward. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Okay. So I have a recognition for Melissa Peel for 25 years of service from Oahu.
Yes, but she was unable to attend. She has a family medical issue that she's dealing with.
If she could come to the next ledge meeting if she wants to. All right. For recognition. All right, thank you. Gina, did you have something specific that you were?
No, I'm just here to learn more about these projects and things like that in the future, but
All right, good to see you.
yeah, thank you.
Well, do you want to talk about tomorrow's event?
The Early Childhood Alliance?
Yes.
Sure. So along with several, Phil is also on that group, but it is a Early Childhood Alliance, and we are looking to bring in some consultants to help us develop this resource within the county. It's a program that's modeled throughout the state, but the one that we're looking at kind of modeling ours after is happening in Onondaga County, and really it's looking at all the services that are available to serve those from 0 to 5 and identify any of the gaps, making sure that there's service alignment, really just, looking at the whole system and doing kind of a system alignment process through this help with this resource for the consultants. And so we have a kind of a kickoff launch meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock at the Phoenix Center. That's still called that. I know it was previous when it was in Oswego. Tomorrow, so you can attend either virtually or in person. So that'll be tomorrow at 9. So that's something that we're looking to get support from the county as well, so that we can take a look at this. We recognize that these are some, there's issues within the community that we'd like to support as a whole. These are our future. They're babies of our county and our community, and so we think that these resources are very important.
And although it conflicts with the committee tomorrow morning, I think everybody got an invitation. I forwarded to them if you're interested.
Thank you.
Do you want to mention your new position too?
Sure. Thank you. My gosh, I thought it was going to be a fly on the wall today. Tina Tucker, I serve as the foundation director for the Shinneman Foundation. That's a new role for me, just spent about 3 months, and prior to that, I was with SUNY Oswego, Director of Office of Business and Community Relations for just about 11 years. So I'm in a process of learning a lot, not only about philanthropy and the resources that we have, also the history of what we've given, but I think also aligning with what the critical issues that we see in the community are, so that I can really understand those, report back to my board, so when others seek funding, nonprofits seek funding, I really can address that in a way that say, okay, I've worked with these people, I understand what the issues are, and I would therefore recommend funding or recommend working with these folks. So kind of here to learn and here to share.
Hope you could send it back this way. And Shinneman, of course, has been a huge supporter of so many different positive projects in the county. Sending those over to Tim. And we really appreciate you doing what you're doing now with the Early Childhood Alliance. Gina was really active when we were working on the original anti-poverty task force. And appreciate all the work you did back then, and look forward to the work you're going to do with the Shinneman Foundation. Thank you. All right. Eric, you're on.
Yes, so the office is just running good. We're still trying to get to where we need to be. I got my accreditation from the state, but I have to wait for my accreditation from American Legion. It's taking a little bit longer than the state did. And I found out that once that's done, I still have to get fingerprinted, background checked, and then I'll finally get my card so I can access the system. And then I'll be 100%. Horton, he actually tested Friday for his VSO training. So we're waiting to see what his results are, and then he'll have the same process, just to sit and wait. He too will be dual accredited. I believe the American Legion is working on just having their own training again. They're just not quite there yet. So they're using the New York State, which is good for us because it gives us that dual accreditation. We started the Pulaski and Oswego offices. If you don't know, the Pulaski were there the first and second Thursday, and then in Oswego, we actually set up in an office in the clinic the third and fourth Thursday. It's kind of slow. I mean, we've only been there for the 1 month, but not a day's gone by that I haven't done something for somebody. Because this first month I went out there and I sat. So not a day's gone by that somebody hasn't come in and I've been able to apply for a benefit for them. What we're doing now in the office is, as people call in to make appointments, our appointments are getting more and more. We're starting to fill up more of the week. We're starting to ask these people where they live. So if they live in the north, or if they live, out in up in Pulaski, or if they're over in Oswego, we'll tell them about that and see if they would prefer to wait so that they don't have to travel as far. I had a guy call just today. He lives in Pulaski. Hey, Thursday, I'm going to be there. Would you like to come Thursday afternoon? He said, yeah, that's great, because he doesn't want to drive all the way to Fulton. Once we get that figured out, we may even look at extending those hours. Instead of doing it 1 day a week, maybe we'll do it twice a week, or depending upon how many people. The first couple of days, or the first time when I went to Pulaski and did it, there were some things that I found out that I needed. A scanner, so I ordered all that stuff. We've gotten it in. This Thursday will be the first day that I actually get to go up set where I can do everything for anybody who comes in. So it's actually going to be great. The PACT Act, if you don't know what that is, that's the law for anybody who has any kind of illness associated with the burn pits, Agent Orange, Camp Lejeune. That list continues to grow, so we continue to see more and more people for them. As the VA and the news outlets are putting that information out, more and more people are coming in for the PACT Act. I got a strong feeling that's going to increase big time come the spring, once the snowbirds all start coming back. Because in the fall, we have a lot of people that are coming into the office, hey, I'm going to Florida. I need to do this, hey, I'm going to Florida. So I think we're going to have a lot of people coming back from down there. That's going to really increase the appointments. The advisory committee, I did do some research and reached out to these individuals to get their contact information, and unfortunately, Jamie Hamlin no longer lives in the county, so she is not able to be on the committee. So that opens up another spot for us to fill. Everybody I talked to, though, was super excited, really wanting to know, okay, when are we going to start having meetings, when are we going to start doing things. So that was good to hear. I was a little nervous when I was calling, so I was like, I don't want them to tell me, hey, don't call me again. But everybody was really excited, and that was their biggest question. When are we going to start having meetings? So I told them, I said, once we get all the information, I'm sure the legislature will reach out and we'll set up the first meeting. So we're definitely looking forward to that. The county American Legion commander reached out to me recently, and I'm going to start attending their meetings. That way all the American Legions from the county can come in, so I can put even more information out to them. It's just another avenue for me, especially to be able to get out the Pulaski and Oswego offices. I don't want to be sitting there and not doing anything, so we really want to get that information out there. I've taken the flyers, I've taken the business cards, so we're hoping that picks up. But other than that, we're doing good.
Good, thank you. All right, thank you. Brian, Youth Bureau program update.
All right, I have a flyer I'm just going to pass around. We are basically advertising for summer positions for AmeriCorps. Everything is on there, including the education award and living allowance. There's a UR code or multiple ways that you can apply if you know anybody who's going to be looking for a summer job. They will be looking to hire staff at Camp Serby. So I don't know if you guys want to take any up that way, and also Sandy Creek usually has a summer program too, where they utilize AmeriCorps. So if you know of anybody for that. The only other thing I have quickly is that Joe from Soil and Water called me today, and he is looking to potentially come back, if not next month, the month after, to again talk to you guys about the MLOC initiative. I know he said that last time he was here, there were some questions, and he was basically going to go to Environmental Management Council. He is still looking to do that. He said he put out the word, but has not been able to do so yet. But he's looking to complete that because the state did get back to him about wanting to proceed in the near future, and their window for doing things is early spring into spring to do so. So I just want to give you guys a heads up that Joe is hopefully going to come back in a month or two to again answer any questions and see if we can proceed with that.
Yeah, well, apparently that never went anywhere at the environmental management or group. What's the name of that?
The Environmental Management Council.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have Patrick Twist, I guess, has stood down as chair of that.
Okay.
And he didn't have any word on it, so okay. I think it's, we may just try to go forward without anything if they're not gonna get together, because I can't force them to get together or, create a new chair. But I will talk to the chairman about possibly getting a chair for that committee.
Okay. And the only other thing is I did bring Zach with me today because you want to give some Parks and Rec update. I know that there's some Camp Survey things and such you wanted to share with what's been happening with at there. So.
Sure, we'll start with Camp Zerby. Met with Rick with B&G recently to kind of talk about plan of attack for the projects there, the budgeted fundings, and now with the $50,000 in DASNY with the bathhouse design. So he has the plans for that, so he's going to get some costs on what that would entail. We took a look at some infrastructure there, one of the old cabins, how we can remodel that and turn that into 2 cabins with bathrooms in there, because 2 of the big comments or feedbacks I get is lodging and where do I go to the bathroom. So great, these 2 things will address those. Moving on to siding and roofing for existing buildings. Of course, the one building that we've already addressed just needs insulation, and that'll be year-round. So this time next year we could have rentals and groups using that facility. That would talk with Joe from Soil and Water. He got in touch with the DEC and the Army Corps for permitting for the trail aspect of the project. There is going to be some special permits. There's an endangered species there, so hopefully we can do something. Hopefully we can still make it a loop trail. Otherwise, we're going to have to look at alternate plans for trails there. Camp registration opens on March 1st. This year we're going to do 6 weeks of camp. Last year we did 4. Anticipating that selling out. It did sell out in 1 day last year. So looking to do 6 weeks there. Bringing back our camp director, Linda McKinstry, who ran it last year. She's a retired Parks and Rec person, and she did a great job. So she's on board. I met with her last week. She wants to do it again. Going on to Camp Hollis, our registration opened for that camp program on January 1st, and we already hit the 100 registration mark in 1 month. That's the most I've seen in my 5 years. So pretty excited for that. Staffing, we are looking for positions, so a few AmeriCorps positions that Brian passed the flyer out about, but other seasonal positions out there. We're about half full, a lot of interest this year, which is great. It makes my life a little bit easier, a lot of great returners, a lot of great staff coming there this year. Rentals for both Hollis and Zerby are strong. Almost every weekend we got events happening out there, so that's great. I think that's great that everything we're doing on Zerby is going to attract more people there, certainly with the CFA and the Ready project at Hollis. We're growing and good things are happening. With Ready, and again, the CFA, those are 2 phrases, words that you've heard for 4 years, but it's exciting because now I think in the spring they're both going to start. We're going to get the insulation going, we're going to get the HVAC, and certainly the shoreline's going to start too. Talking with Barton, with Judas, our contractor there, the tentative plan is to start that in the spring. So that's been a long time coming. So we're excited to get that going. And finally, with Independence Trail, when we talk about frisbee golf again, I can, but that's our big thing right now. And it goes without saying, it's going to bring in a lot of people. It's going to have more benefit for recreation for the county. People come in and doing something different. Dr. Humphrey mentioned certainly that we don't have that, so a lot of great benefits there. And the Ready projects there are moving forward a little bit slower because we had to rethink one of the projects. It kind of set us back a little bit, but unlike at Hollis and Zerby, there's no rental, so we can just hit the ground running when we get to that point. So, any questions?
Where are you on the shoreline protection stuff at Hollis?
Right. Our understanding when we met with them last week is that they're ready to start in spring, and we're ready to go. They just submitted everything they need, the 60%, but they're confident that they can start in the spring and work around our rental schedule to make it work. So
great. All right.
We'll go to the last thing about that frisbee golf course. Dr. Humphrey was interested in running a youth group out there, and I think you guys can see, I think he's pretty energetic for possibly doing that, and he's not looking to get paid to do that, so that might be another, he envisions a youth league out there. So.
How much land out there is open? I mean, there's 80 acres. How much is actually, is a lot of it wooded, or what's the?
It's wooded, but you can pretty much get from anywhere to anywhere. It's not that thick.
The only reason I ask is, ultimate frisbee is becoming very, very popular as well.
Doesn't have to be wide open areas. I mean, there is a front, but I'm thinking that's going to be more, we're looking in the future to put a pavilion and parking there is what we're thinking. So there's not a big open area, but there is a lot. It's all trails.
Mm-hmm. I think with this grant, the Frisbee Golf, we had a great work group. The Summer Youth Employment Program had a great youth works group there. I think people are coming, and I think great things are on the horizon. And there is a plot of land there that we could turn into a field, and
Yeah.
Brian mentioned the pavilion, so. And all these things that we pitched to Lori, and she's on board for development there as well.
So next week also, Zach and I are going to Albany for the Youth Leadership Forum. We're bringing 8 youth from Oswego County. We're meeting with the Assemblyman. Last year, he got us right on the floor and introduced everybody to all the youth to the Assembly. So we're looking forward to that. But if anybody has anything they want me to bring to Albany next week, then I'm more than happy to. First time they're able to do it since the pandemic in person. So.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Sarah?
I passed out earlier on our 2022 kind of program highlights. It's not everything that we do, but certainly is a pretty good snapshot of what we did in 2022. So,
You got another
yeah,
copy, Tim took mine.
I do. I'll give you mine.
Just needed paper.
I did want to say that we did overall between the congregate sites and home delivered meals, we provided 255,694 meals in 2022. That's about 10,000 less than we did in 2021, but it still is more. It's about 5,000 more than we did prior to COVID. And now we are anticipating, we're seeing an increase in demand for meals because of the cost of food, the cost of gas. So we're pretty confident. We have budgeted 267,000 meals for 2023. I don't think that we will go over that number, but if we do have ARPA funding that will help cover any additional meals that we provide. I'll keep you all well informed, and if we get close to that number so that we can, shift money from ARPA into meals. Of that, we have, as part of that, almost 5,000 meals were weekend meals. So we're up to 57 unique individuals that receive weekend meals. That's not all the time. Our number is about 35 that are constant to receive the weekend meals, but 57 unique individuals received weekend meals, which is 4 meals, so it's 2 for Saturday, 2 for Sunday. So I'll let you, if you have any questions on any of those other numbers, certainly just reach out to me and I'll be happy to discuss anything that we're doing at the office.
Thank you. It's a very impressive list of services.
But I did want to, so in 2023, we started, Fair Dining Center started serving meals at the site, January 18th. So we've been doing the social hour and then grab and go meals. They haven't been sitting down and eating their meals together, but Central Square site started on the 18th. We're moving forward to bring the Phoenix nutrition site into the fold next, and then to Fulton, and then the remaining sites after that. So we're getting back to what we were prior to COVID, and we're happy about that. We're also exploring a site in Plasky at Selkirk Landing. Previously, we had a congregate site in Plasky that moved to Sandy Creek, and then the Sandy Creek site ended up closing. Now that Selkirk Landing is open in Plasky, we're exploring the options to open that as a congregate site. We have sent out surveys to residents at Springbrook, the senior apartments in Plasky, as well as Creekside and Sandy Creek, to try to gauge the interest. Are they currently receiving home delivered meals? Would they like to, if a location was available to them, would they entertain the idea of going to a congregate site? What are their hurdles to attend? Is it transportation? Is it mobility? So we're surveying them to see the interest in the area, to see if we could open up a site. I'm working with OCO on pricing. They're telling me right now, or at least the initial conversations we had, that there would not be any startup cost for that site. It would just be the per meal cost that we currently pay them per meal. So I will, once I get the survey results back, get some actual information from OCO on paper, pen and paper. I'll bring it back to committee to see if this is something we want to move forward with. We do have some underutilized dining centers now that possibly the option is to close those sites in order to open a site that was previously very well attended in the area. So I should have more information at our next meeting to see if we want to move forward with that.
How are the numbers in Central Square?
Central Square numbers are terrific.
Good.
For the opening day, we had 25 participants when we had the sit-down meal, and that's about average what they have.
Okay.
Some days a little more, some days a little less. So they have a great center there in Central Square. So we are also still continuing to process HEAP applications. To date, we've received 444, well, as of Friday. This mail wasn't in this morning when I put my report together. 444 applications. We have 8 in-house right now. So they're touched by our office, reviewed, and then promoted up to Stacy's office, and with the rest of the people who are looking for the HEAP benefit. Our SNAP Shine Ed grant that we have, we finally have a registered dietitian that has been signed. We have a contract with her. She's starting to go out and secure locations to provide the senior nutrition education around the county. We're so happy to have this. We received the initial grant in 2019, and we have not had a nutrition educator to be able to do the actual workshops until now. So she'll be doing 10 workshops. Each workshop consists of 4 classes, so there'll be 40 classes throughout the county. And that is the same grant that we do last year we were able to get the container gardens out in the community with our farmer market coupon distribution. And we're going to be doing that again this year. We're looking to increase the number of container gardens that we do get out. We did 500 last year. We're hoping to do 750 this year. Our office, or OFA, New York Connects Caregiver Services Coordinator Elizabeth Weimer was recently interviewed for PBS regarding the animatronic pet program that we have. On the list, it shows how many we got out in the community this past year. With the contribution of the pets that we received from the State Office for the Aging, we got 380 out in a very short period of time in the fall to people who were socially isolated, lonely, whatever the case may be, but they now have animatronic pets. So she was interviewed for that along with one of our pet receivers.
She's at risk.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And we have gotten out 33 of the walker squawkers. Those are newer, they're birds. Cardinal and a bluebird that sit on the walker to remind our seniors to use their walker to hopefully help reduce the amount of falls that are happening, because that is one of the biggest issues as we age is falling. And people might have a walker or a cane, but they get up and then they don't use it. So the birds, when they stand up, it's motion activated. They start singing a song during bird call, or there's a number, Rockin' Robin, a couple of other songs that they will start tweeting to remind them to use their walker. They went out to our home care clients first, and now they're going out to anybody that could utilize them. We did install our first LEQ, which is the artificial intelligence unit, where it knows the person who has it. It'll say, "Good morning, Sarah. How's your day going? The weather looks like it's going to rain today. Make sure you use your umbrella." It reminds them to take their medication. If they're not feeling well and they know they haven't been feeling well, then it'll say, "How are you feeling today? Do you think you should call your doctor? Maybe you should call 911. We have another one going out. We have 3 more units in our office. So if they know you like music, they'll play music. Or would you like to listen to a song? Say, would you like to hear a joke? It's all dad jokes. So they're all entertaining, but yet it's quite an amazing unit, and it builds upon the responses that the people have provided to build their knowledge base. It is HIPAA compliant, so no one has to worry about any of that information going anywhere else. And then we have our Powerful Tools. We're doing a Powerful Tools for Caregivers class starting February 28th. There's 6 classes, which provides caregivers with tools to better care for themselves while taking care of their friends or relatives as a caregiver. So it's a class to help teach them tools so they can better take care of themselves, because many times as a caregiver you forget about yourself and your self-care. So the last thing that I have on here, I did see the potential blueprints for our building, and I'm very happy. I hope whoever is on a committee to vote that through. I would say please vote it through. We're very happy with the space that it looks that's earmarked right now for the Office for the Aging, for a senior center, for a space. So I know that it's Kristen from CNS Engineers came in and had some questions for me, and when I saw it, I was very happy to see the plans. So Dave is gone. I can't thank him, but anybody who's on the ARPA team or the team that's voting on what's potential for our Bunner Street building, I'm very happy. Our seniors will be very happy if it moves forward and they have that space to be able to meet and have computer classes, have cooking classes, have evidence-based health promotion classes. I'm just very excited for the potential for the space that we may be given. So thank you. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Sarah? All right, Stacy.
Well, I sent a report out. I don't know if anyone has any questions about anything in our report. I gave you what the vacancy numbers are, which are pretty significant still.
It's in the back of the packet. Yeah, I'd encourage everybody to read it if you haven't already.
Our services vacancies are still high. I think some of the cross-reporting on the Bonadeo group, they didn't really put it in context. When they talk about the number of vacancies in caseworkers, they were referring to just our CPS unit, not all. But presently, we still have about 27 vacancies. We do, however, have 2 people. Marty, want to report out who we're hiring?
3 people are coming in next week, but 1 we stole from our fraud investigative team, and 2 people are off the street. So we're really excited about that.
And we have a couple of other prospects. There's some folks who are graduating and did internships with us. We have another fellow who's working in our accounting unit right now, finishing up his bachelor's, and he'll be coming in as a caseworker aide until he gets his bachelor's, and then has a vision of becoming a caseworker. And we have an intern now, right?
Right. Well, we have 2 new interns coming on Monday as well.
Yeah.
How many interns do you take?
We'll take as many interns as we'll
And how far along do they have to be in school for you to take?
We'll take them as freshmen
Okay.
or on up. We want to try and capture their talent. And if you saw that wonderful article of the 2 caseworkers who were interviewed, the one gal, Melissa, was an intern, was also a foster child, who said when she came and did an internship with us, this is the way I would have wanted to have been treated in foster care. I want to join this amazing group of people. So
Who do they contact for that? That's right.
Marty.
Okay.
Yeah, or I, and we'll get something set right up.
Okay.
I know it wasn't as recognized in the Bonneville report how much we've done with area schools. We're now working very closely. Marty actually sits on some committees with Cuba Community College because some of our positions require associate's degree, not bachelor's. So, we really do work closely with our area schools. Do we want to go back up here on, so again, anything that you want to ask me about, please do. I gave you a little more information on the homeless during inclement weather and cold blue, what we do with our funding. I also gave you some kind of startling numbers on our assistance program, 22 versus 21. And you can see where SNAP, we've got 8,047 applications in 2022. Now, not all of those are open, but it still takes the same amount of time. And our homeless numbers as well. And then if you didn't hear about HELP, hiring emergency limited placement program, we're quite excited. It is kind of a heavy lift for HR to get through the bureaucracy of the state. But what it means is these provisional caseworkers we're hiring, because we go through the tests, folks, so quickly, why they won't have to take and pass the test. They'll go automatically from provisional to a permanent employee, at least for a year. Civil service at the state level will be waiving that requirement, and you might have heard me scream with joy out in Mexico when that news came through. So it's hard to find young people who will come take a job provisionally, and what we say to them is, well, we'll hire you, but you've got to take this test in order to keep the job. And we don't really know when that test will be given, but we'll let you know, and it just...
And then even if you take the test, you won't know the results for 6 or 7 months.
That one we turn over a little faster, but some of them, you're right. Our social welfare examiners are scored in Albany, and sometimes that takes up to 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is pretty, that's a pretty huge, I'm sure there was lots of support for that at your event last week.
Oh, yes, we thanked the commissioners. So I went to the New York Public Welfare Association conference in Albany, spent the week in Albany, and we met with all the commissioners of the different state agencies, and we thanked OTDA and OCFS, Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, and Office of Child and Family Services, because they heard us as commissioners across the state, and they went to state civil service and they really advocated for us. We are absolutely convinced it was OTDA and OCFS that got us that win. That will also be the same, we think, for social welfare examiners. I know it's for caseworkers. It is not for promotionals, though.
There is a chart available of the titles. It's go right with the announcement.
Yes.
Do you know when it's going to take effect, though? That I did not see.
Well,
you have to have a change in your local roles. So Julie, when I talked to her this morning, told me that they are set to go in March to have that approval.
Would that go to us or that?
No, it goes to the state civil service.
Okay. All right, because this is obviously something that is really smart and long overdue. It's only temporary, but hopefully they may convince them to make it some sort of a permanent change.
Well, we are looking to, and we're continuing to promote training and experience for caseworkers versus the written test. So more to come on that in the future. That might make it a little easier. They also are coming out soon with a new waiver, I guess it's a waiver, but lowering the qualifications for a caseworker from a 4-year degree to a 2-year degree. That's a really complicated one. It really impacts our whole wage schedule. So I'm going to be deferring to Phil on that. My understanding is there could be a study being done this year And I think the best way to proceed with that is to put that out there for whatever consultant you use to kind of take a look at whether that's a wise move or not. I certainly would not have a problem with it. I've seen some of the human services associate degree curriculums that are very robust and prepare students well. And with a 4-year degree, we'll take any 4-year degree. So it could be in English, it can be in anything. So, so we'll see how that all rolls out.
There's a trend of some states actually doing away with that whole 4-year requirement.
That's correct.
They do require an additional 2 years experience in human services. And they've said that caseworkers would not be allowed to promote to a supervisor or to senior caseworker level without the 4-year degree.
So it incentivizes someone to join up with us, finish their bachelor's degree, finish up that last 2 years in order to have promotion. And that will be something we'll look at too, whether we want to do some kind of a caseworker trainee kind of position. A lot of different options to look at, but we will be deferring all those kinds of issues to a consultant that can kind of take a better look at how it fits into the county as a whole. Because we have to look beyond the department. If we want to go back to I do have a couple of things I wanted to show you. So it would be CPS performance reports, way up at the top, just under this, that one. Yep. So you might recall in November when we last met, I did show you this chart. And, I'm wondering if, can I take over the mouse?
You absolutely should take it over.
For me. Can I just get out of this?
I think if you continue.
Okay, so this is percentage of workers with more than 15 CPS reports. This, by now, this report should look familiar to you. And we still, because of the significant vacancies, are still, let's see where we're at down here, 57%. And that's up a little bit from 55%. Percentage of overdue investigations. And so that one, we remained stable at 61%. But here's the one that you may remember got some of you with your eyebrows raised, because the percentage of timely safety assessments, meaning they were done within 7 days and then approved by a supervisor in the formal electronic record system with the state within 7 days. What I've always said to you and have assured you is we're doing the work within 7 days. It gets backed up on supervisors' desks, and we don't always get it approved. And that we were down right, if you recall, at the very bottom at 34%. And now, let's go way up here, 82%. I remember someone asking me, Stace, what are you doing about this? So we're trying to hire. We did bring retired supervisors back into our fold. We were so touched when we reached out to them that they were willing to do that, because they were enjoying retirement. And they've come back in, and they've been helping us clean up overdues and the 7-day safety assessments. So you can see, we know what we need to do. We need the hands, the minds, the training, the experience to get it done timely. As the Bonadeo report showed, we're seeing people in that. We're contacting the source right away. We're getting out there and seeing those kids right away. We're doing all the risk and safety assessments. We just don't always get it documented, and we don't always get it in there timely. And of course, that's what these reports are all based on, are these electronic records. And I have one more to show you. And that's the length of stay of children in foster care. So here's our foster care. Less than a month, and then all the way up to over 24 months in foster care. We really are supposed to achieve permanency within 18 months. I need to push this down so you can see it a little better. So as you can see, from December of 21 to December of 22, we're remaining pretty stable with our foster care numbers. Kids are coming into foster care. We certainly know that because of the incredible busy court calendars and going in on a lot of removals. But we're also getting parents or getting relatives to have a safe, nurturing place in their own family, and getting those kids out of foster care and back into their bio families. We're still, as you can see, we've got kids languishing in foster care way too long. That's the impact of not having enough staffing, truly. It's very intensive work to get parents engaged, get them to a place where they can take care of their kids and provide a nurturing home for them. But that is our goal. And then, what we'd like to see is kids returning home within a year, not staying in care up here with 2 years. So, any questions on any of that data in our services division? Just as I see this is up here, Gina, this was the Public Welfare Association puts testimony out to Assembly and Senate. This was on childcare. And I can send this to you. But the state is putting a lot of money into subsidies. They're raising up how much parents can earn in order to still be eligible for a subsidy. Where they're not getting it right is our vendors, our child care providers. Little Luke's, as you may have heard, closed in Pulaski. Why? Because they weren't getting paid enough. I can't with a good heart counsel a young person to go into child care. They're going to be living in poverty. So what we have to do is we have to give our daycare providers more, and that's what we address, the loss of child care providers and these child care deserts the state has mapped out. Double the state child care funding to bring staff wages closer to public teacher pay rates and attract more skilled people to the field, and provide appropriate technology for implementation in child care eligibility and program policy. We need to help stand up and develop. And parents don't really want big centers anymore. They really want formal, trained, small child care providers, whether it's in their home or whether it's smaller group child care. And what they really love is if it's in their workplace or in their children's school, because they have other children in school. That's, the workplace piece is where we really kind of miss the boat in America. Many other developed countries, that they hardly have a business without a child care center in it. So we're really pushing to try and get the state to invest in a different way. Okay.
Any other questions? All righty, I will look for the appropriate motion. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all.